Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the second annual. I guess this is the unofficial official kickoff of our second annual Halloween in July fundraiser for our HWA scholarships and educational programs. This year, we're continuing that tradition, and we're also doing something a little different this year. Also working in conjunction with the University of Pittsburgh and raising funds for a archival project with the university recently acquired archives for Stanley Wiater, who had done interviews for numerous HWA members, including Linda, who's here tonight. So I just wanted to give a little introduction to the Halloween in July fundraiser and kind of what we're doing here, and then I'll just hand it off to Linda for some poetry. So thanks, everyone.
Okay, so here we are. By the way, I love being read to, in case you didn't know that. I like reading too, but I love being read to. So thank all of you for coming. I think I already mentioned this, but if you're not speaking, please mute yourself and keep whatever you're reading, 3 minutes for each round. We only have an hour. And I normally start it because I'm the host and you can't stop me. So I'm going to do that anyway. But it's going to be really short. This one is from How to Recognize the Demon Has Become Your Friend, and which is poetry and short stories. Thank you. And it's called Forever Dead. I was happy before I became a zombie, stumbling through Central Park at night, sleeping in a tumble of fallen trees all day. Memories of my past life jumbled together, best forgotten when I lie face down in ripe, yielding earth. I was happy before I lost my soul to the will of a voodoo goddess, binding me to the light in her eyes. Dreams do not come, but if they could, they would be of dying once, falling forever into pure stillness. So there you go, Forever Dead. So thank you, darlings. So I'm going to just, I guess I'll go by my list and paper because I know we're in different orders here. So the first person I have is Pixie. Go, do it.
Okay. I will be reading a poem from my chapbook, The Body is Haunted, author Trinity's Press, called Here Is. Here is a spark, love. I press it into your palm. It singes and it sizzles. It is every child we never have. It is cold food from midnight diners. It is rest stops and flyovers. Here is a spark. I press it against you like a branding iron. It freezes and frostily nips at your palm. It is every dream you yelled in. It is a flat tire on your bike. It is an explosion of extroversion. It is the ambivert switch flipped upon interrogations. Here is a spark. No, not a spork, damn you. A spark. Small light glimmering thing. Ghost lights. Cinders, bonfires yet unlit. Chase away the malignant shadows of how words always wonderfully metastasize between us. In slumber, it radiates the monsters away, so we can sleep, mostly in peace. Thank you very much.
Woo, yeah. And that whole book is awesome, by the way. If you haven't, just go look her up by whatever she's written, because honestly, amazing.
Thank you.
Next, Gordon.
There we go. I'm alive. I only have a couple of really short poems, so if you said I could go with doing like flash fiction and that.
Whatever you want to speak for 3 minutes is fine with me.
Well, this should take about 3 minutes. I have a short story called The Van, which I published some time ago, in published by some writers group. I forget the name of it offhand. Suth or Loose or something like that. This is called The Van. The van was the color of stale coffee. Dull, dark, stale coffee, with a border of rust along the bottom of its chassis. A plastic bag was taped over one rear window where the glass was missing. The license plates were splattered with mud to illegibility. Yet the motor was well tuned, barely purring at high speeds. Tied to the grill with yellow twine was a foot-high doll, a modern makeshift figurehead. One plastic eye was missing. The left. Scrapes of its tattered ballerina costume fluttered as the vehicle raced through the empty suburban streets that Sunday morning. The child was no more than 4. She wore a plain white cotton dress, which she put on all by herself. The sun shone too bright. The air smelled too fresh for her to stay indoors, waiting for her parents to wake up. It was all not right, she assured her favorite toy, a bedraggled koala bear clutched under her left arm. As long as she stayed near the house, in the yard, on the front lawn, well, no further than the curb. And of course, she would never, ever step out into the street, not without a grown-up, and not even when she couldn't even see any traffic. Certainly not now. The van's front wheels swerved. There was a metallic scrape and a thump as it jumped the curb at the driveway. The child's mouth opened. There was another thump. The van jounced back onto the street, rolled to a stop, paused and backed up, hugging the curb until it was even with the child. The driver climbed out of the van, leaving the motor running. He wore mirror glasses and a black t-shirt. His lips and lower chin trembled. The koala lay inches from the small, unmoving hand. The driver picked it up by a rounded ear. There was a fresh streak under one plastic eye, a scarlet teardrop. The toy seemed almost alive in his quivering hand. Unlike the child. Capillary action was dyeing the dress bright red. He did not even try to touch her. What's the point? A scream came from the house. The driver spun, leapt back onto the van. Tires squealed, overwhelming the scream as the van tore down the empty street. An hour later, quiet suburb 50 miles behind, the driver pulled into a rest stop along the highway. He took a long swig of brown liquid from a bottle in the glove compartment. He saw and added fresh mud to the license plates. And he removed the ballerina doll from the grill. The koala lay on the passenger seat, where he tossed it before making his escape. Bare patches on its coat spoke of too many hugs. The fur beneath its eye was already stiff and black. He avoided touching that spot as he tied the bear into the doll's place. The ballerina was tossed into a large cardboard box in the back of the van, a box more than half filled with torn, soiled, road-weathered toys. The van started down the road again. The driver's hands once more held the wheel with a steady grip for the time being. Thank you.
Whew, okay. All right. Making me question life as I know it. Thank you, Gordon. So we don't have Brianna here, correct? No. Okay. If she comes. We don't have Carrie either. Not yet? No? Okay. Jeff. Behave, Jeff.
Oh, there we go. Hi, how you guys doing? All right, I'll behave, I promise. All ready? Fine Line. Music by Dan Verkes. Before you are born, your heart beats. From your first cry, you scream and your lungs breathe. Your fragile bones grow with time, but eventually begin to break down. As the end of your life approaches, your teeth may start to fall out. It is almost like being reborn. What truly occurs when confronted with death? The delicate boundary between life and the end presents a fine line. Uncertainty surrounds us as we question the unquestionable, pondering whether it's a permanent departure or the start of something new. We lose our hair and our minds, and the veil that connects every moment of our lives remains unknown, yet shown through signs. Are they? Some never see them, while others pretend to have everything under control until their last breath leaves their body. Are these stories even real? We don't know, but they will always be told, whether by force, with his hand around your throat, or simply by choice. The other side of life is rarely shown. Life and death are best left vague. When one has experienced immense pain and madness, yet still demonstrated unconditional love. Just like a perfectly fitting glove, it all simply dissipates. Is it the raven or the reaper itself? When you've screamed so loudly for help and there's nobody else, and your lungs are on fire, you scream, and what does it mean? When you're unable to locate the puzzle pieces and all you experience is struggle, you suffer from the grief. Are you finding yourself in a state of redemption? Are you struggling to locate the answers? It's as if they were a pervasive cancer. Life is a constant roller coaster full of both disasters and beautiful dreams. What does this journey mean that is causing confusion? There will never be a definitive answer. My mind is beyond all the madness that it sees. But in the end, when I'm scared and on my knees, my heart explodes at the seams. What has become of me? I cannot bear the thought of all the pain and cost. My mind is now lost and my fingers are falling off as I shiver within the grasp of Jack Frost. My sanity lost in the frigid darkness. What will happen when the fine line is crossed? We will all inevitably cross it. So, stop acting like you are not going to burn or rot.
Whew, okay, there you go. Thank you.
That is it. Fine line. Thank you guys for having me.
Yo, thank you for coming and reading. Ayana, you are next.
All right. So I am going to be reading from my chapbook, Daddy's Demons and the Dawn, a piece called Eve. I have this recurring dream that I see my twice zombie father walking down the street. I approach him casually, pull my blade from my pocket, slit his throat, and bathe in his blood, a baptism of sorts. I wonder if he would have stuck around, would I have all of these delightful, violent fantasies? Maybe that is why he could never be anything resembling a father to me. The poisoned apple does not fall too far from the tree.
Awesome. Oh my. I kind of like how that went with my zombie poem. Did we do that on purpose or is it just a coincidence? I don't know.
It was intentional.
Of course, obviously. Thank you. Carol.
Yes, ma'am. I am going to read my poem called Mirror, Mirror from the fabulous Under Her Eye, edited by Lindy Ryan and Lee Murray. Mime, trapped in the mirror, hands pressed against the glass, my face silently screaming, unheard in the conversation. You paid so much attention at first, a whirlwind of fun things to enjoy, keen interest in what I was doing. I felt so valued, truly seen. We grew closer and shared so much, I threw open the window to my soul, until subtle changes crept in. The focus started to shift. More and more talk about you, the burdens you carried, how much you went through. No one understood you. I became flat, my surface reflective. You looked in my window frame and saw only yourself. My own image disappeared. If I didn't reflect enough attention, the rage, I'm in a bad way here, you'd say. But what did that really mean? My needs and interests devalued. Couldn't possibly be as important. I should just recognize that it was all about you. I tried to pantomime what I needed. Such an insult to you, the rage, the threats. You pointed out, the mirrors can crack. My call to the police was a betrayal. You said you were misunderstood. How dare I worry about my own safety? Couldn't I tell you had it all under control? Control. Yes, that's what it was. The balance had shifted from our mutual gaze to where it was all about you. All about you. But friends dusted off my surface and made me remember I had once been multidimensional. I could have my own way again. Together, we broke the mirror's frame. I left while you were away. Because it's not all about you. It's not all about you. It's not.
Nice. Very well done.
Thank you.
I love that poem. I have that book. I love that poem.
It's a great book. And I just want to throw out there, that's not my husband we're talking about. I just want to be clear.
Honestly, we all know that nothing that we're writing is real.
Yes, of course, of course.
I
Inspired
mean,
by
Jeff
friends.
didn't actually die to write that poem, right, Jeff?
Jeff might have.
No, right? I was saying you didn't actually die to write that poem, did you? That journey. Okay, that's all. I'm just messing with you. You know I like to do that. John?
First off, I'd like to thank all of you for having me tonight. It's a privilege and an honor to be here. I also want to give a shout out to Gettysburg Writers Brigade because they do, just like HWA, they do support other writers. So what I'm going to read for you for this round is called A Short Life. It was published in the online magazine 6 Sentences. On Monday, Jack was born from a test tube in Penn State Milton S. Hershey Medical Center. On Tuesday, Jack graduated with an accounting degree from Penn State University. On Wednesday, Jack was installed as president of KPMG US Foundation, Inc., despite the fact that Jack had no experience. On Thursday, Jack was fired as it was discovered that Penn State University influenced KPMG board members into giving Jack the position as publicity for the university's test tube program. On Friday, Jack was admitted for suicidal urges at Penn State Milton S. Hershey Medical Center. He never made it to Saturday.
Oh, snap. Okay. All right.
That was very short.
All good. It was like to the point and everything.
Wow.
I got it. I sure did. It was great. I love those 6 sentence things. Angela, you're next.
Awesome. Halloween in July for the win. Thank you, Linda, for doing this too. You are awesome. All right, I'm going to read Al High Bun because everything has been high bun for me lately. And this was written for Ladies in Horror, which is Nina Dark Angela does that every month. And we all write to different photos for ekphrastics. So this is called She Turns, or How Dangerous Lies Make Dangerous Women. She turns away, the dethroned queen, sidestepping the blame with a grace reminiscent of the lioness, pre-pounce. Robes adorned with patterns of weeping, blood and ash. Braided in her hair are the bones of displaced kings, warriors, and other corpses that dared to claim her. She walks and the forest shudder beneath her feet. The sacred, thirsty groves tremble with delight at her approach. The wind carries her keening song, a memory melody of loss, the feminine blood taken in childbirth and violence and sacrifice, and for pleasure and as scapegoat, and 1,000 other atrocities piled as high as her throne of bones. She is vengeance. She is death. Under the neon light of the full moon, she dances, hypnotizing with pulsating rhythm. Beneath her feet, a floor littered in false promises, pretense, and decay. She has been lied to so many times, she becomes the stories men whisper to keep her in her place. Witch, succubus, harlot, she rises on their fear and appears in their restless dreams, confounding them with a longing, lust, and loathing. She is what they have claimed her to be, an unbridled woman, untamable, untouchable, and returning regrets. Hell hath no fury, and she becomes the lies, the embodiment of fear, what you said she was. Yeah, that's also not written about me, so I'm friendly.
You know what? I wouldn't say that out loud. I like her already. I'd be like, yeah, that was about me. For anybody that wanted to mess around. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what, Linda? I'm going to say that could be inspired by you.
I mean, I'm not mad at that. I've been called worse. Pixie, we're doing our second round, folks. Get ready. Oh, I think we just left Pixie. We just lost her. Maybe. Oh, okay. You're back. Yay.
Yeah, sorry.
It happens, honey. Technology.
Yes, it is. It is evil. Okay. I will be reading my unpublished poem, In Season. Ripe dream fruit are in season finally. All colors, no colors, those impossible colors. Night sky, sunset fruit, blood fruit, droops falling, machetes severing, harvested with Wartenberg neurowheels, hand pollinated by microfilament, sticky, syrupy, and astringent, full of nacreous arrows and poisonous. Never spit out the seeds. Cover your mouth. Swallow them up like they are Persephone, and your mouth the greedy rose and aged ivory cave. When they ripen, as they must, are a toxicologist's wet dream, and burst forth from your skull, fully formed and foliate. Savor the sweetness in your last breath. The empty flesh shoveled into the barrows, soul sundered away, always fertilizes. Thank you very much. It is unpublished.
Ooh, it won't be for long. You send that out. That gave me all kinds of creepiness. Thank you. I like that. It's like a counterpoint to Jeff's death of all things, but yours was like a different version of that. All right, Gordon, you're on.
You.
Keep forgetting that. Okay. Trying to decide. I've got two really short poems and a drabble. Which one of those would you like?
Whatever you want to do that fits in 3 minutes or less, darling.
Well, since we're doing poems and hopefully my computer won't bite me like it's been doing now. Second here. Triptych of Terror, 3 haiku. Cemetery gates locked. Low brick wall, easily scaled by Slayer also. Heartbeat grows louder, pounding hard against your ribs, echoing your own. Open grave, empty now. Claw marks scar its muddy lip. Won't be empty long. You want me to squeeze another one? I will, but I'm not going to push it.
Oh my God, I love that. I love series of haikus. Thank you. So good. Okay, Jeff. Where'd you go, Jeff? Jeff, come back. Okay, we'll circle back.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave this camera off for this one, I think.
Okay, no good. It's do whatever you want, however you want, my dear.
All right. This one's called Forgotten Time, unpublished. There is a change within me that not many can see. Picture perfect madness is an undeniable reality. I'm wailing into the dormant trees. I'm choking on air and loathing in a fictional world of unrelenting dreams. My screams, my visions, my heart. Am I forgiven? Nothing in this world will ever let me know. I am frozen in the snow, sinking in the undertow as the cold waves crash down. I can't figure out where I need to go. I pace as I race, demonstrating emotions brewing in a pot. The wicked brew up potions, making me outspoken, loud, and silently processing these strange sounds. I never know exactly what will happen next. My mind is a never-ending battlefield of constant changes, inner demons, deceitful angels, agonizing faces, and a painful past of haunting places. Can you figure me out? There seems to be no way to find balance. There is no chance. Even I can't find the place where my screams are silenced. Even I cannot find guidance. There is no alliance, no palace. The intent is solely focused on retribution. Everything is madness. Everything is malicious. I do not exist. Nowhere to be found. I am alone in a mind that constantly pounds. I am up. I am down. I smile. I frown. I cry. I live. I die. Why? Please provide an answer. Everything inside of me is becoming rancid. What am I searching for? I cannot change if I am trapped in a cage. I cannot release anger in a quiet rage. I cannot be forced. I cannot shatter the barricades. The different levels of madness are based on where we dwell. Cackling witches rely on their spells. Most are unaware of the tales they could tell confined to the bottoms of their bottomless wishing wells. Catching pennies and telling lies in this perpetual hell. In the absence of light, the wishes are not granted. They are burned on sight. Souls require guidance, affection, protection, and at times, recreation. Even if it means reliving their trauma, feeling the pain once more, fighting the flames anew, facing their reflection stare, standing in solidarity and battling inner nightmares. You must never trust appearances. One cannot blindly believe everything that is seen. Many things are mere illusions, and both people and their surroundings can be deceiving.
Nice. Well done. I like the subtle rhyming that you're doing there too. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. Ayana.
All right. So the next one I am going to read is called Liminal, and it is unpublished. Wore myself out, shadow boxing again. I haven't been doing my conditioning exercises, and my stamina can't compete with my dark reflection that has never been bound by space, time, or dimension. She's all the best parts of me and all the worst of me simultaneously. No flesh, blood, and bone, no pits in her stomach, no debilitating hunger, a crying small intestine screaming out to be fed. No self-doubt, that creeping, slithering centipede with as many legs as I have reasons for why I just can't seem to get it right. She sits across from me, watches me as I sip water from a glass smudged with oil and 1,000 fingerprints, amused by my physical limitations, confused by my ire and boundless envy directed at her, this vaporous entity, because to her, I'm all the best parts of her and all the worst of her simultaneously. All flesh, blood, and bone, incessant ambition, an abyss of empty calorie accomplishments, confidently incompetent, like a tarantula doing calculus, scurrying through an equation, silk approaching an inevitable conclusion, intersecting infinite lines, only touch in one place. Thank you.
Oh my, that was like a movie running in my mind on some LSD. Thank you. Okay, Carol, you are next.
Okay, I have a haiku to share. Set the quarter's goals, did lots of other stuff instead. Guess I should have checked. And then I have another piece. I apologize, Linda. I just read this at Stoker, so you just heard this one recently, but that's all right.
I can't hear you read enough. Just go.
You're too sweet. It's called Bobblehead, and this is from the upcoming anthology called Discontinue If Death Ensues, coming out in September. You do your job well that day, only to be corrected by a man who is not even your boss. You smile and nod. You love art class after work, but the studio guy critiques your piece before it is even done. You smile and nod. You pull away from Uncle at the family party when he passes by too closely and laughs as he pats your backside. You smile and nod. You try to refuse Uncle's offer to escort you home after the gathering, but he insists it's for your own safety. You smile and nod. You gather your torn clothes after he's done, as Uncle says to consider yourself lucky that he even paid you any attention. You smile and nod. You become restless in your own body. A different energy courses through you, no longer your own, no longer alone. You wonder and nod. You talk to the doctor about your fears, show him the home test kit, since the extra line must be a mistake, right? You smile and nod. You should have used protection, he says. Of course, this happens all the time. Now it's your responsibility to bear. You smile and nod. You ask about alternatives, please, because surely you can't be expected to. No, he says, that's against the law. You pause and nod. You feel your body change as something else takes control and changes how you walk home. Passers-by move out of your way for the first time. You shrug and nod. You gaze in the bathroom mirror with wonder, pull back your lips and turn your head. The light glints off what it reveals. You grin and nod. You stare at Uncle when he laughs. He then asks, aren't you getting a bit fat? You run your tongue along those multiple rows of sharp teeth. You bite off his head and smile.
Oh, that ending. So satisfying. John, you're up.
All right. This piece is called Private EDAD. And just a note, EDAD is an anagram for the word dead. This was published in Black Hair Press in their Dark Moments online publication. Before the commencement of Operation Overlord, the newest soldier of 1st Infantry Division composed a letter, an effort to reassure his mother. She feared losing him to a bullet, like her father during the Great War. In writing, Private Joseph Edad promised to see her again. Then, on D-Day, as he marched up Omaha Beach, several rounds of ammo from a German's NG-42 drilled into his neck. The soldier was the first to fall. For his last seconds of life, he never thought about his fellow soldiers silencing the German gunners. He only hoped he didn't make his mother angry.
Ooh, that gave me a chill too. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Angela, you're up.
All right. This is kind of along what Carol's going along. I was like, I'm going to read this one. This kind of matches, but less satisfying in the end, I think, because no heads have been bitten off. But it's called, again, a high bun, The End, or How to Break Up with a Book. I stand alone on the park path, broken-hearted, and as you walk away, the rain begins, and I realize you took not only my joy, but my umbrella too. The drops fall thick, plastering my hair to my face, ruining the makeup I artfully applied this morning and camouflaging the fat tears that roll down my cheeks. When you said you had something important to tell me, I expected romance. Why else would we meet where we first met? But you always need to be center stage, and your final act impacts, fracturing me, my plans for next weekend, us. My epicenter schisms within the cage of my chest, struggling to contain all the sobbing, shattering spasms that threaten to break me like the iron sky is trying to drown me, and the air to suffocate me, and gravity to pull me down and bury me in this grave mistake I have made. And I laugh. And I laugh, and I laugh, and I am laughing, not because I love the feeling of my world exploding into emotional shrapnel, but because I know my shattering dreams will fall into a grander design than yourself, centered on yourself, could ever know. Our paths have now parted, and I can see mine has never been straight, but despite the wrong turns, up and downs, and pitfalls, it has led me here to this sodden and soaked moment, bereft and baptized by storm. My infernal engine still beats, pushing blood, moving me forward. I breathe, having lived long enough to know an end never is, and this goodbye may be forever, or just for now. But now I need to go forward, looking forwards to bury you with. I will exercise this pain with pen and shelf you alphabetically as fiction. Time to turn another page, another chapter finished. This is not the end.
Woo, the promise of a head being Noise. Very well done. Thank you. Pixie, you're up again. Pixie.
Yep, I was just switching tabs. I will be reading You'd Be If You First Publish in Punk Noir. I have lost count of how many times I have been told you'd be prettier if I smiled more, with your blood tinting my teeth like a copper-flavored, slightly thicker than water periodontal rinse. I wore a shorter skirt and had it wrapped around your neck as I wrung and pulled, feet braced against the side of your head, until I heard a satisfying pop from your spinal column. I straightened my hair so it was a free-flowing veil between my shoulder blades as I hacksawed off your limbs so you fit better in the box. I wore makeup because it's best to wear a disguise when seeking victims. A useful tip, I concede. I wore high heels to show off my killer legs. And while you don't say this part, I'm hobbled and can't run. Stilettos fit deeply into an ear canal with enough force. I didn't wear black clothes every day. I'm not a ninja. It's just best for hiding blood and indistinguishable fluids temporarily. I have lost count of how many times I have been told you'd be more popular if I lost a few pounds, but someone somewhere will be eventually celebrating the loss of 200 pounds today. I dressed in clothes that weren't frumpy, fit me properly, and showed off my great figure, but it would be harder to hide the weapons if I wore bodycon garments. If I didn't wear combat boots with everything, but they are non-slip, waterproof, and practical for 3 a.m. grave digging, I have lost count of how many times I have been told you'd not be single if I wasn't always knitting or crocheting like a grandmother. The ancient Egyptians were onto something good to use these tools to remove soft organs through small orifices. I wasn't a teetotaler. If I hung out and relaxed and cut loose a little bit, but you're very languid and swaying gently from the barn rafter. I improved my posture and stood up straight, projected my chest out, but then the suspect's height would be accurate if I screwed up, and well, that just won't do. I have lost count of how many times I've been told I'd be happy, you'd be happier if I just chilled, pulled the stick out of my ass, pretended to want like it, which is precisely why you have a piece of rebar up yours. You didn't pretend to want or like it either. I acted more like a girl. In response to the winch, I dress and process what I hunt. You are dressed, wrapped in freezer paper and are portioned out, neatly labeled in the freezer for winter. I was taller. Did you know that a person grows several inches when on the rack and the cranking begins? Now you know. Simple machines give simple pleasures. I had just danced with you. I love to dance, just not with you, and no one is ever watching. The truth is, I've already lost count of my body count. Thank you very much.
Woo! Okay, I know what last poem I'm gonna read. I'm inspired. Holy macaroni, Pixie. Okay. I never laughed so much at so much, dismembering in my life. That was great.
That was the abridged version.
Okay. Gordon, you're up.
Got it. I'm so used to just keeping my mouth shut. All right. I have a very short story and a very short poem. If I can squeeze those in, is that okay?
As long as they fit in 3 minutes.
The poem first called Phantoms. Plodding neath the dark, foreboding skies, hands jammed in pockets, shoulders hunched, lips tight, alone, yet sensing far too many eyes. Neutral voices welcomed him this night. This graveyard was a place of dread and more. One tomb drew him close. He gave a groan, mirrored in the crypt's reflective door, staring back, a dead man's face, his own. That was called Phantoms. And very quickly, just, kind of lighten the mood a little bit. It's called School Project. Getting the body parts was easy. There were always deaths. Sometimes trespassing was involved. Okay, almost always. But who cares? Mixing and matching, a little more difficult. These anatomy texts were so out of date. For the 10th time then, everything was properly connected, waiting for a jolt. She switched on the current. There, fluttering eyelids, twitching limbs. Then, nothing. For the 10th time. Oh, that's it. Forget that furry feathered mess. It's back to cardboard volcano for her science fair project. Again, she clanked away from the table, needing fresh oil and a reboot, long overdue to free fragmented her overworked motherboard.
Oh, darn. I was going to curse, but, people might
A
be.
little science fiction in there.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Uplifting for horror writers, you were right on. Jeff?
All right. This one's from the poetry section of my upcoming debut, The Voices in Your Head. And this is called The Changing of the Leaves. This is how insanity is expressed, rendering us lifeless and distressed. There are too many voices present. There are too many haunting dreams. There are too many scavengers devouring me. Everything is silently growing on me like a slow-growing tree. It is consuming me from within while I cry out for peace. It is the kind of peace that I have been desperately needing. This is how my emotions manifest. This is how my confusion and anger leave so little left. There are too many adversaries. There are just too many painful memories consuming me. Some days, I am not who I seem to be. Other days, I am like a tree. I silently scream amidst the changing of the leaves. When my leaves fall off, it hurts so much. When the cold winds blow, I feel the frostbitten touch. When the birds stop chirping, they also stop building their nests. An explosion of violence is unleashed, revealing the transformative mess and countless anguished regrets. You will witness a line of wailing trees, experiencing pain like you've never known. You will see a procession of smoldering memories, just like my own. You will hear our collective cries as we shed our leaves. Our eyes will roll back as we are entranced in a spell. Our protection from the harsh winter has been stripped away, leaving us unable to breathe in this abominable hell. We are as rigid as those vessels we once carried. You will witness us slowly deteriorating beneath the now dormant trees, undergoing a painful metamorphosis into a state of animosity. Some days, I am not who I seem to be. Other days, I am like a tree. I silently scream amidst the changing of the leaves. This is how evolution is illuminated in plain sight. This is how the falling leaves spark and ignite. There are too many flames burning. There are too many hooks entangling. The rusted barbed wire is starting to heat up. Everything is spinning violently like a slow burning tree. There are too many constraints without corresponding keys. Exposed wounds intersect at the razor's edge where the mentally ill are confined. Harrowing screams reverberate endlessly below the sleeping maples and thriving pines. The decomposing flesh engulfs our shattered minds. It sears, pulls, and bubbles beneath our feet. Enlightenment is never what it seems. And amidst the changing of the leaves, some days we are not as we seem. Other days, we are like trees. We all weep silently beneath the fiery leaves. Such piercing, inflamed screams. That's the end of that one.
Great ending. I love the repeating of that section. You kept repeating. I love it.
Thank you.
I have a quick question, Angela. Since we just started recording, it was like 5 after. Do we have 5 extra minutes we can grab? Or you?
Oh yeah, we've got all the minutes you want, Linda. I have all the time for you.
Oh, you. That's why I love you, Sue. Just want to make sure everyone had to finish this round. Yeah. So next, I see Ayana is off. So unless she returns, then Carol, you're up.
All righty. Well, I am on a roll with second person poetry, so I'm just going to keep going on it. This is called The Child is the Mother is the Child, and it's from an anthology, a series of anthologies, The Longest Night Watch, charity anthologies for Alzheimer's disease. You stand on the porch of your mother's house. Your dad needs a break every day, just a chance to get out alone without needing to track and care. Your shoulders are slumped, dreading what you'll find. Take a big breath and square them. You can help carry the load. Knock on the door in the way you always do. Shave and a haircut, 2 bits. Surely that will sound familiar. Your face has a smile, but inside you wonder, who will she be today? Who will be there? Your father answers. He gives you a hug, and you send him on his way. He escapes out the door. Your mom comes in as he leaves, nervously crossing the room, smoothing her hair at the sight of you. She hugs your old doll in her arms, a fragile smile on her lips. She holds the doll out and you pat it on the head. Hello, you say, and smile and look her in the eyes. My name is Carol, and I've come to play with you today.
Whew, all the everything. My mom passed from Alzheimer's. All of it. All of it. Whew. Whew, thank you. John.
Okay, this is another published one. It's called The Monster Inside, and I was privileged to be published this in HWA's Of Hope and Horror anthology. So very proud of this one. I face cannibalistic aliens and witches, a ghostly beagle to see his COVID-ridden owner on his deathbed, enough hyenas to tear a man to pieces, a vampire that disguised a weight loss program as a recruitment tool for minions, all from the keys of a Hewlett-Packard laptop. But the monster I face the most hides in the darkest corners of my mind, waiting for the right moment to speak in phrases of, you're not loved, or you can't write, or even, you're nothing. When I feel the weight spewed by my own personal demon's mental garbage, I remember those special little moments, like getting myself out of bed, looking myself in the mirror, and telling myself that I am somebody, seeing my wife's beaming face, going to work for another day's pay, and with the hope I receive for at least one more day, I silence the monster inside, but the monster still waits for another day.
Nice. Whew, I can relate to that some days, let me tell you. I also like the rhythm that you had in there. It was quite good. So this will be our last. I'm not going to go through everyone again. We're just going to end with Angela, and then I'll read one. Because, I mean, other people might have something to do it for, so I'd like to keep it in that window, just as long as everyone had a chance. So, Angela.
All right, on a cheery note, let's go to global warming. This is another high bun, perpetual snow days, or while we were doom scrolling. When hell freezes over, as my granddad used to say, and as a kid in the sweltering, bone-melting hot pot of inferno left to us by my granddad and those of his generation, I frequently wished it would. I'd never seen snow. I couldn't imagine anything but the baking pavement that left tar burns on the soles of our feet when we dared to run across the road. The corporations turned us into corpses, sold us out, led us to believe that the next gadget would save us, not from anything that mattered like war, warming, or wrath, but from boredom. We sold ourselves out for entertainment, clicked the checkbox, said yes to the cookies, and gave full permissions to turn our world into an easy bake oven. And when they suggested the next greatest thing to solve all our problems, you'd think we would have learned, but shooting silver dust into clouds seemed so exciting at the time. And then hell did freeze over. The silver linings tarnished to dust, blocking the sun. Thankfully, the heat dropped, and we cheered the plunging mercury as it kept plunging. When the first snow fell, it was a miracle. Chilly manna from on high, and we made snow cones, not minding how the silver dust turned our tongues gray, then our skin. We only cared that the sky was gray. Global warming was trending down, and our thoughts turned back to letting someone else run the show until everything went off air, and we looked up and out the windows to see we were on permanent holiday. Every day a snow day, and like a string of old Christmas lights, we started going dark, one by one by one. Leave it to humans. We always fix what we break. Humans, leave it be. And that's it.
Whew, I'm just saying, people know this earth is so mad at us. Okay, so I'm going to end the wonderful, incredible. I'm like ready to go back and rewatch this. This is being recorded, so I want to watch it again with a glass of wine because I won't have to talk. But anyway, so I'm going to read a poem from The Place of Broken Things, written by myself and Alessandro Menzetti. And this poem was actually written by both of us, and it's one of my favorites. So if you've heard me do it before, too bad. I'm going to hear it again. See, unapologetic. I'm sorry, not sorry. Anyway, it's called The Yellow House, and you might get the references. If not, call me, I'll tell you. The Yellow House. The Dutchman is painting his house in chrome yellow, like the sun, like the golden teeth of an archangel. A bell rings in the distance. The holy scent of candied fruit is floating all around. No, she can't find me here, thinks the man. So far from Paris and its demons. The Dutchman is painting himself on the walls of the Yellow House. Sunflower petals bloom from his head. The light of Provence in a moment walks in the window, a glimpse on the canvas. Then through an empty glass, becoming a memory of the transparent red of wine. Not a place of broken things, thinks the man. So far from Paris and its screams. Evening stars and revelations. What is the Dutchman afraid of? Eternity. He can feel it on his skin, sucking days like a cold leech, that limitless space he can't paint it all. Too much shadow, too much to take. Someone knocks on the door, repeating the same words. Vincent. You again, thinks the man, crawling under the table. She's waiting outside, pregnant. The Dutchman found a path to the next world in the walls of the Yellow House, like the first memory of a dream. Bright, still life captured by imperfect hands. Fighting isolation, weeks ago, he found her in the field, and now, Vincent, not you again, whispers the man, squeezing his eyes closed, hands over ears. Still, she waits, refusing to leave. The Dutchman found a road away from the roaring city, from the broken. Why are they afraid of him? Alchemy. He can feel it under his skin, humming in each breath like a newborn, suckling ideas from his noisy brain. She knocks again. Please, he prays, pressing his forehead against the rough wood floor. In his memory, her face is bright yellow. Daffodils cover every inch of her skin, obscuring the details of her face. Blue irises seep from her fingertips. The knocking stops. An echo of pleading rings in his ears. Was this a dream? Left by the moans of crowded buildings, of their need to change him? In his memory, their faces were blurred gray. They, faceless would-be teachers with hands frozen in muted palettes. He crawls from under the table. She was never there. His ears deceived him. The cracks in the walls begin to weep. I will give you color. I will give you stars and revelations. The Yellow House. Thank you. All right, you guys can unmute, all of you. So said the teacher. Or the Philly girl, one of the two. Anyway, reading that.
Really?
That's one of my favorite artists. So I don't know
That
why.
was awesome.
Thank you so
Very
much.
nice.
Yeah, well done.
Wonderful.
Everybody did a great job tonight. I
Rest.
enjoyed
Yeah, same
everyone's
for everybody.
readings.
You guys did wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing these words. Yeah.
I love it. I love everything that every single one of you did. And I love even hearing the unpublished stuff. I love that because then it's like you
Good.
put it out there saying it's unpublished. I don't think any of you are going to be unpublished with that work long. So, and, you know, congratulations for people with the books out reading from them. Congratulations to people with the books coming out, Jeff.
Thank
And Thank you all for taking your time to do this. Angela, did you have any last minutes to say about the whole point of this?
Oh, just thank you everybody for coming along and supporting Halloween in July. Thanks for helping us kick it off. We're going to be doing this through July and August, and the whole point is to raise money for our scholarships and programs. And this year we're doing it in conjunction with the University of Pittsburgh Library System, which is housing Linda's books, like all her papers. So we need to support them.
And the us and they, by the way, are HWA, Horror Writers Association. Just want to, I mean, people probably know that, but
yeah, thank you though, because I assume everybody is us, you know. So
the Halloween people. Yes, we are the Halloween people. All right, thank you all once again.
Thank you, Linda.
Reading your wonderful work.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Goodbye.